research on this man as you can and try to debunk him. Let's prove him a fraud. Let's go for it. And if you can't prove him a fraud, well then, hey, what do you do with the information is up to you. So there's your mark of the beast. We're not sure what it is. It's breaking God's laws. And at some point, I think Ron's got a good point. There will be a law passed that will outlaw whatever. Outlaw Christians, you know. Outlaw anybody who doesn't believe, doesn't have faith. I mean, if you just look around in the world, they're pushing all these alternative religions. They're trying to incite a war as we speak between Christianity, even say quasi-Christianity, and the Muslim world. Yeah. It's a beehive ready to explode for sure. It already has exploded. Alright, so I'm going to conclude with this because I like it. And if we stand against these devil worshippers, it's got to be devil worshippers and Lucifer worshippers. It's got to be some sick, psychopathic, lizard, devil worshipping, demonized, whatever you call them, to be doing the atrocities and sickness that we see in this world today. Absolutely. Sandy Hook Elementary just happened last Friday. Well, it's Wednesday today. That's only not even a week ago. There's the Aurora shooting and all the scandals that go along with these two shootings. Inconsistent evidence. The official stories don't match up. 9/11's official story doesn't jive whatsoever. You got invasions into sovereign countries. Libya. What the heck was Libya all about? Omar Gaddafi? He treated his people good as far as I've researched. Syria, what's going on there? Afghanistan, Iraq, come on. Now Israel invading Palestine and going against basically international law. Now that Palestine's been recognized by the UN, what was the vote there? 164 against 9 in favor of Palestine being recognized as a state or a nation or what have you, whatnot. That was a recent vote. And now Palestine is threatening to charge Israel. Well, they're going to do it. They'll charge Israel for war crimes now that they've got that recognition through the United Nations. It's all farce. It's all fraud. But it's something, right? And Israel now is creating more and more settlements, basically genociding these people. So that's that side of it. And then you've got Syria is exploding, and it's just another stepping stone, just like Afghanistan was, Iraq was. And there will be that, Iran's on the radar. So it's a hot bed down there, and it's going to explode. And hey, let's get the old security infrastructure in place before it all does. And the reason I mentioned that, and it's just disgusting, like Sandy Hook, you sacrifice, come on, in my opinion, and some research I've done, because I don't believe the official story. Who does? I don't think you'd be really necessarily watching this video if you believe the official story. You know what I mean? So Sandy Hook is it's not a false flag. It occurred, but when I say false flag, I mean that it's the idea that the official story that they present is false. And Rahm Emanuel said, "Let not no good disaster go not untaken advantage of." And what I mean by that is to do things that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So what are they trying to do? Well, now it's all over the internet. Gun control. And I was reading some stuff, and one man put it really, really well. He says the next step after gun control will be concentration camps. Concentration camps for who? Anybody who disagrees. Anybody who they can deem and label as a domestic terrorist. What's a domestic terrorist? That's a broad brush. Anybody who speaks out against the government? Pretty much at the end of the day. Well, the government could do a lot of shit that we don't agree with, as a very small example. Okay? Just throwing it out there. In order to compete with the global economy. Now, Stephen Harper of Canada said that. Oh, I know it means a loss of national sovereignty. He said it, what was it, the G20 or the G8 or the G56, 7,000, who cares? But he just said it like 2 or 3 years ago. Definitely got that saved. It means a loss of national sovereignty, but for the sake of the global economy, we got to do what we got to do. So let me throw this out there. For instance, if the government that says we got to compete with the global economy, Indonesia or this country or that country or Bolivia or some foreign country or China, they're able to manufacture their products at $2 an hour. And they get to use children. That's why it's so cheap, right? So you people here in the developing world, Canada, the United States, we need to... This is what we're going to do. We've got all the control now. We've taken your guns. You're not allowed to oppose us or you go to concentration camps. Your wage is now competitive with the foreign wage. You all get $2 an hour. You know. Right? And let's face it, Canada, China, they're all in debt. Or Canada, the United States, they're all in debt to China. That's a small example. Slave labor. It could happen. And if you don't like it, you're off to the concentration camp. And too bad we took your guns. So what I'm trying to say is it's pretty damn sick what these people do to forward their control agenda. And what I'm saying is, if you really look at it, where do they get that evilness from? Okay? There's got to be there's a greater spirit that they're tapping into, that they're following its agenda. Now there's, you know, people nowadays are waking up. It's new age. We can talk to spirit guides, so we can believe in those. We can believe in Saint Germain and the Ashtar Command, and we can channel all these things. But yet maybe we're not willing to believe that there is a dark force, a spirit such as a Lucifer that could exist. You know, it's a little bit, what should I say, a little hypocritical, picking and choosing. If you believe one, then you should be able to believe in the other. And just take a look at their works. That's the whole point. Through their works, you will know who they are. Like, how could you commit such disgusting acts without conscience if you're not serving some dark, disgusting, evil spirit? Because it's all about spirit, right? And what is the cremation of care at the Bohemian Grove? The cremation of care is this is what it could be. They probably do maybe real human sacrifices, but regardless, they take a doll or whatever, symbolic of a child, for God's sake, an innocent child. Even the symbology is disgusting. Okay, take an innocent child and they sacrifice it to this owl thing or whatever it is, and it represents all the care is placed upon this child, and they burn it up. Now they don't have to care about their conscience, and their consciences are washed clean, and they can go about their agenda of genocide, murder, theft, destruction, because they burnt up their care and they sacrificed in order to do it. And they're sacrificing every day. Every time they send someone to war, and someone dies in one of their wars, that's a blood sacrifice. These schools that get shot up, should it be proven? Should the truth ever come out? Is it, if that is the truth, that these type of things are inside jobs? Those are sacrifices. No different than the cremation of care. So that's my spiel today. It's the mark of the beast, right? Let's just wake up. And when you wake up and when you know your enemy, then you got power. And I'm going to conclude with this 2-minute clip. If there's a dark spirit which is pulling the strings on these people and they're demonized, possessed by lizards, whatever you want to call it, then there's got to be the opposite spirit of that kind of evil. And I'm going to play this and this, you know, let's do it. Let's stand up against them. But we may not be able to do it on our own accord or with our own strength, but there is a spirit there that we can tap into. All right?
Slaves of a nameless god, once again I bring you the challenge of Goliath of Gath, champion of the Philistines. Where is your faith in your God? Where is your trust in his protection? You boast that he can move mountains, and yet he cannot move one man among you to defend his honor. Well, Israelites, what is your answer?
Yet though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death,
so be it!
So there you go. Us little people, we've got a lot of power, right? If we want it, and if we need it, and if we figure this shit out, and if we have a little help from the Spirit of the living God, let's face it. Okay, so that's it. RFID chips, Mark of the Beast. It's all going to work out, people. Alright? Okay, have a good night. Thanks for watching.